And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to this
Should I?
episode of what was it an episode of, Jake? I think it was this.
I believe.
Reflekshunz, doing it every day. Reflekshunz, doing it all the way. Reflekshunz, doing the best we can. Reflekshunz, at home with the travel ban. Now give it to me. Well, I can do the hero.
Welcome to another great episode of Reflekshunz. I'm Adam, your co-host. I have the lovely Jeremy Hitchcock with me this evening. Jake, what's been going on in your world? I know we got a lot of crazy things going on right now. What's going on?
Listen, we got Lindsay, R.O.B. We got Chopper in the house. It's a veritable Blue Ranch party. The Scottish Wild Man's dropping in. Yeah, Daniela's in the house. She don't let it's a trigger an effect right there. Sorry about that. Had to place in with this little native flute whistle.
Now, Jake, do you bring that out in the field squatching with you? And if so, do you find any positive results by doing so?
You know, I think that's going to be my new approach for 2020. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We're allowed to.
Okay.
I know. I think Matt Niven might have maybe something to say about that. Maybe some pointers, some tips. He can give me
tips. Well, interesting. Now, Jake, this show is called Reflekshunz. I want to reflect quickly with you on kind of a personal level here. Things are going crazy, poopy crazy in the world right now. I know we're hunkered down here in upstate New York. We had the travel ban put on us today. The business ban put on us today. We are no longer able to do anything. We're under house arrest unless it's a dire circumstance. It's not essential. Don't go anywhere. We're quarantined. It's a scary time right now. I know every time I get a little twinge in the back of my throat or feel a little weird, I'm like, uh-oh, I got the corona. This ain't gonna be good. But I am a hypochondriac, and that comes with the territory. Now, sometimes to settle myself down, what I do is I get in the studio and start working on a project, maybe make a little song, do a little editing, start to think of other things besides my body and what's going on around here. Are there any things that you've been doing, Jake, to kind of keep your head above water, maybe, try to make some sense of this or just cope? What have you been doing to cope, Jake?
Well, stretching is something I should have done because I feel also so knotted up. I haven't slept in 4 days. Just twisted and turning, so anxious. What's gonna happen? How can this be? No, but thankfully, I did have work this week, and we were still able to do some work this week. I was Han Solo for the last 2 days up until today. Today we had a 4-man crew to inventory all of the skis, the boots, the poles, the snowboards, everything in there. So it was all hands on deck. Spaciously, I counted the poles, and Garrett did the boards, Danny did the boots, Leanna did the skis. We all stayed in our zones. So to speak, but they're starting to lock the gate to and coming, like they're dummy locking it, but putting a guard down there, the banks one at a time sort of thing, all sorts of limits at the grocery store, and here we are. Are we in denial because we're looking for Bigfoot still, or what's going on?
Well, I think it's out of necessity that the boys on this mission are continuing on. I think it gives everybody a little hope that, there's still they're still doing it. They're going after it. They're making it happen. To me, that gives me some hope. It's also makes me a little nervous because I put myself in their shoes, and I don't like that place, and I think about it, and that makes me anxious. But I'm not even there. I'm at my house, and so scary times, Jakes, right now. Scary times.
I mean, they won't. That's why I think we were saying off camera. I think they're gonna get rewarded, or maybe it was on camera. But their stick-to-itiveness, the way they don't say die, and it's like it's been pointing, tick, 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 like you were saying. They've got so many great minds down there. Oh, we'll do this. We'll do this. They're reacting on the fly.
They are. They're
it all happens for a reason. I can't, when Florida was shot down in Mississippi appeared, my heart told me that. My heart did. I don't know. What do you got in the chat?
It looks like Daniela showed up here. I think she might want to get on here with us and talk on a little bit different format, a little different platform than what she is. Let's have her on the show here. Hello, Daniela. How are you? Welcome to Reflekshunz.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing good. A little scared, a little nervous, a little scared, a little nervous, a little unsure. Trying to keep things happy, trying to be not so stressed out, but it's really hard. It's almost like, can I just go in a coma and wait to wake up from this thing? Because it's real. We want to talk about other things than being scared, though. One of the main topics here tonight is the mission that the guys were on, and we wanted to reflect on this show from hidden assistance and some of the things that we're bringing to us from Carrie, saying that the mission is changing locations. I think that's a good move. I think everybody wants to see a closer firsthand look at the encounter place where that whole thing happened. I think that's a home run. That's really I'm very interested in seeing them, very intrigued to get a better view of that. And the reenactment part of it, I've always put it in my mind, kind of listening to it, and we've all probably heard it several times, but for them to go and do a reenactment here is going to be pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about that, and what do you think about that, Danielle?
Well, just going back to what we were saying at the beginning about being, nervous and stuff. I don't think worrying helps, does it? I think being practical at times like this is the key thing. Is to keep busy, do what you can. And worry just causes unnecessary. I know it's not easy, but I know. But what can we do? What can we do? We've got to make the best of it. That's all we can do. But back to the guys. I think Kerry's encounter is so fascinating, isn't it? It's one of those that we're all close to it, but there's a lot of encounters out there that stick in my mind that I've heard on Sasquatch Chronicles and I've seen on YouTube and listened to podcasts, but Kerry's really is a fascinating one. So to get a more in-depth detail on it and actually be there with the equipment that they've got as well, it's going to be really exciting. And this is completely a complete turnaround really from what it was initially, but they've had to adapt and they're out there while all this craziness is going on in the world. It's like a huge thing really to think that they're actually out there and they're doing it.
They've been waiting for so long. It's like how many of them were already halfway there when Florida got canceled. It was like 3 or 4 of them, 2 of them were there, 3 on the way, it's like, and still the next day or the same day they were supposed to, everyone who could still got there, dude, they're not giving up.
The guys are amazing. I wish I had a better vocabulary.
Yeah, I know it is. I don't think people realize the magnitude of what they're doing, really, in terms of just what they were doing initially, and now faced with everything that else is going on, it's just all so crazy, isn't it?
It is.
But they have to do it. They've committed to it. They've planned it. The guys have taken the time off. They're just, like I said, making the best of it out there and doing it. So we could have a really amazing documentary and maybe some really good footage in that area, more than Florida. There's a reason maybe why this is all, as I said before, it's like a full circle for Kerry. It's going back to where it all started.
Yeah.
So there's something in that, I think.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to think about it.
And I think morale boosted too. Once they get here, Florida shut down. Oh, Mississippi. Oh no, 2 days. You got to get out of here. Well, shoot, we're already down here. Boom, boom, boom. Everything, and now, morale's picked back up. They can get in there. 248 acres. Yeah, you can put a hurting on that with 9 guys. Groups of 3 with a cameraman. Yeah.
Kerry knows that land. It's private land.
Yeah.
So it's just they don't need to worry about anything. And he knows there's stuff in there. And so the other guy who I think he used to hunt there after Kerry, he heard stuff, and pretty sure he did actually. Yeah, I remembered he saw them. So
I mean, it would be a privilege going with Kerry anywhere, first of all, but to go to where this thing all started, in a place where he knows the place so well, and he's like, who else would you want to get this excursion with or led by? He's like the perfect tour guide, the perfect, he says he's not a researcher, which he's not, but he's a tour guide here in this sense. He's going to be going in, these guys are going to be, he's going to be able to let them know where to go and be able to direct. And I'm really excited about the whole thing.
Boss, though.
Yeah. I can just imagine the kind of black and white of it for him, of being somewhere he's really familiar with, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a bittersweet.
Sure. Like he was saying tonight with the way he was feeling, he got those emotions where it wasn't necessarily fear, but it was a not good feeling, and it would just come, and he wouldn't know when it was going to come, and it would just come, and then it would go, thankfully. And I give big time credit to him for doing all of this. Like, we all know that in the beginning, he was going to be a base camp guy. He was going to be there to make sure everything ran smoothly. And now he's in the trenches leading the expedition. It's a big difference. Big difference.
Yeah.
So, whew. It's a lot.
Can do it. He can do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Strong mind, strong-willed. So Andy Gone Fishing thinks I'll look a bit under the weather. I am tired. I've had a long day working today, and it's 1:30 a.m. So I'm not going to stay on for too long. I'm just tired. But thanks for asking.
You don't want to get run down too much right now. That's for sure.
That's it.
You keep that immune system up, and be able to combat anything that comes your way the best you can.
Yeah. So let's take it down from the cryptid, and what's boots on the ground in your area looking like where you're at, and
Corona wise.
No, not Corona, but people wise. What's the vibration? People low fear vibration, or are they still up? Where's it at?
Lots of places are shutting down. Lots of offices are shutting down. People are, you're going into the shops and everyone's wearing gloves and got Auntie back next to them, and all that. There's nothing really on the shelves. You're going in the shops and there's not a lot. In the big supermarkets, there's just nothing. It's going as quick as they're putting it out. I think at some point it's going to kind of level out, because those people that have bought so much are going to not need any more for about a month. 6 weeks or however long. So hopefully, but I'm not panicking. I'm just doing my bit.
What's the weather been like there for you, Daniela? Are you still heating your home with wood and all that, or is it getting warmer? Or?
Putting the fire on at night, but the last couple of days it's been nice sunshine. It's been windy, we've still got a bit of wind, a bit of a chill.
Yeah, same here.
We're just kicking into spring, aren't we? Hopefully, it's going to warm up a bit, but it's definitely warmed up than the last few weeks. So I can't wait for the clock.
I forgot all about it, you guys. I forgot all about it. I was supposed to bring up our weather, Adam, because we got a weather alert over here in our county up here, and there's like dark clouds moving across, 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts, possible power outages. Like on the way home, the radio broke up to do an emergency alert system. I looked down, it was 3:21 p.m. and they said, it included our county with this thunderstorm line moving across with all these high winds. And sure enough, as soon as I get home, the winds kick up. But still, it's been really cold. You need a fire. But today was so super mild, so the fog was chewing the snow up. And like Carl was saying earlier, like game is on the move. When you have fog, when you have inclement weather, when you have rain and stuff like that, like we're always seeing deer. Like our yard is full every morning. There was 14 deer in the yard this morning. I mean, it's I'm just saying, there's a lot of things going on. I just forgot to bring that up. I'm stupid.
Jake, you're not dumb, buddy.
You're not dumb. You're not stupid.
You're not stupid, Jake.
I dropped the ball, guys. I apologize.
Jake, it's okay. It's okay. Just take a deep breath. Relax.
Get your whistle out.
Let's reset.
Play a little tune. Play a little tune on
play a little tune, Jake. Come on.
Go on.
All right. Yeah, maybe that'll cheer me up, you guys and gals, you guys.
Okay, thanks.
All right, now.
That cheered me up.
And on that note, sorry.
Thanks.
I mean, sorry.
Just it's a bit like for me, the fingernails on the chalkboard going down. Yeah.
I won't do that again. Sorry,
Thanks.
A little bit of levity.
I'll be gone soon, so fill your boots with it. So anyway, I hope we have something exciting anyway for tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow we have Mogi on.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, in terms of Mogi on's going to be great, but in terms of action out in the field,
there will be something. The best thing that can happen is that all the guys are safe and everyone feels well. If we get that out of tomorrow, that'll be a home run.
Yeah, definitely.
So, did I hear correctly? Did he say 50 miles was the gap, A to B?
I think so, yeah.
50 miles.
50 miles, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's a home run.
It's nothing, is it?
It's going to be a pain in the ass to break down camp again. 50 miles, you can do that standing on your head. Come on.
Yeah. That'll happen pretty quickly. Doesn't take that long to break camp down. No. I mean, they were motivated camp for 2 days there anyway before they shifted anyway. So I think it'll be a pretty seamless transition there for them.
Yeah, I think they just got there, set up a camp, had something to eat last night, and probably this morning they've thought, we won't get too settled. Who knows? But it's been a lot of travelling for people, hasn't it?
Big time.
Brandon Shomer's not even there yet. He's flying out from Hawaii.
Holy shnikes.
Tomorrow, maybe?
He's lucky.
Yeah, he's out of there already, I think, and he's flying from somewhere else to somewhere else, and maybe not now. I don't know. I think there's a change.
We know people who've been trying to fly home from Ukraine for the last few days, and they can't get through, and the embassy doesn't answer their phone calls, trying to get out of there. But they said they might not get out of there till like the 4th of April.
Yeah. Guys, it looks like we've been joined by another person here. He needs no introduction.
God.
Boom.
What's up?
The only Monsignor Gautreau from Louisiana. What's up, brother? Thanks for popping on here to Reflections with us. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here.
Oh, good to be here. Just went and drank a gallon of gas, trying to keep this virus down. Hopefully it works.
Now, was that the high test or
93 octane? Yeah.
You spare no expense, my man.
No.
I would have gone with the 87 myself.
Well,
I'm cheap.
Good stuff.
You can't take a chance. You know.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Carl, a couple quick questions here. I just wanted to reflect quickly on the show we were just on. We had some updates from Carrie. We're talking about some pretty interesting things. Carrie's going to be moving his excursion down to his place there, which he said is 50 miles away from where they are now. Now, are you familiar with that area? Or do you know it a little better than us? I mean, you're down closer to him.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much, you know, a lot like you know, above me, about 2 hours above me, you start to run into piney woods. I mean, it's a little further down, you know, you get in the swampy areas and marshy areas, but it's more pine trees, and I'm sure they have little swampy areas there, but I think where they're going to be at, it's mostly like a more upland pine trees, you know, big ridges, you know, kind of that sort of thing. Probably lends itself, you know, to what they're looking for.
Sure. I know I'm pretty interested in getting a glance at it, being able to put my peepers on the topography and getting a better look at that whole area. It's going to be something I've always wanted to do, is see it better. And this is going to be a good way to do it.
Well, I think the whole thing's going to be interesting. I mean, even though, you know, having to move locations, to watch them, you know, through get you, it's going to be interesting.
It does that every now and again, Carl. I don't know why.
You're breaking up just a little bit on us there, bud. Can you hear me, Carl?
Rosen.
I hear you. I don't know why. Could be so many people on the internet. I don't know. I mean, everybody. I know I can't see the chat at all. So.
Gotcha. Carl, I noticed that throughout the progression of your YouTube channel, actually Jake brought it to my attention that you were a lot of the content was your camera, security camera, and now there's like excursions. You're doing things in the woods. You're out there checking things out, and there's some really interesting things that are happening locally in your area, outside, away from your home. And that's interesting. I really like that perspective that you're giving everybody. You're letting everybody kind of see what's going on around you, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like one day I was talking to Rachel. I said, let's just go see where we think these things are coming from, you know. And there's, like I said, there's a little patch adjacent to my house, you know, and it's not that big of an area, you know. I mean, to tell you the truth, but like I said, man, that's the most twisted up woods I ever seen in my life. I mean, you know, with all these, like I said, you get on a game trail and you start walking, and you know, you run into a roadblock. So you turn left, you couldn't go left, you couldn't go right. Now we could bypass it, we could go under it, and you know, it would open up again. Then you know, it was kind of like steering you. I felt, you know,
yeah,
like in a certain direction. And then sometimes we just came to a dead end. We couldn't go any further. We had to back out and find another way. And I think the most interesting thing about it was those I call them hunting blinds. Some people said they might be like shelters that they build. But to me, it looked like almost like a little hunting blind right next to a game trail.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I've always been in that same camp too. I mean, you look at the things. If it rains, you're getting soaked in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to protect you from? Nothing.
Right. I mean, it definitely looks like it was made. I mean, you know, just the way the two logs were there and the sticks were piled on top of each other with the leaves. I mean, that I don't think that happened naturally. I want to go back, but Rachel doesn't want to go with me, and I don't want to go by myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel better with somebody else going with me.
Yeah, I hear you there. What about if you had a friend who might be interested or a bit of an outdoorsman? What's the possibility of you guys going into that property and doing an overnight in there?
Ooh. Nah, that was a big step just for me to go walk in those woods. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like Carrie, you know. And then we didn't really go that far into it. What I was trying to do I was trying to get to, and if you can watch it on the video, I talk about it. It's very strange. It's a complete circle of oak trees planted in this patch of woods. And it's in a perfect circle, and these oak trees are hundreds of years old. Yeah. So I was trying to make it there just to see what it was, why somebody had even done that. You know, I mean, I don't know if somebody lived back there one time. Maybe you know,
no foundations or any old architecture from back in the old days, stone pad or anything.
We couldn't even get it. We couldn't even find it. Couldn't even get to it. It was so thick. And I mean, we ran into roadblock after roadblock. I mean, we made it to the pipeline, the right of way, but I mean, we couldn't, it was so thick, we couldn't even make it in there.
Huh. They could have been planted, you know, in remembrance of some people, or, you know, you don't know, do you, who was on that land and why they would plant. But whereabouts is that? That's in that wood, isn't it? You just
in that little wooded area.
You just don't know what was there years and years ago, do you? Could have been anything.
No, because like I said, you know, where we live right here was part of a huge plantation back in the 1600s, 1700s. And, you know, who knows, that could have been, you know, they could have had a big house in the middle of that. That's why I wanted us to go check it out. But like I said, we never could get to it.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, you know, when this coronavirus blows over, and maybe the BLB will come down, do a little mission.
Yeah.
Boom.
That would be nice.
That would be fun. That would be a pleasure to hang out with you for a couple days and do a micro mission. You know, it'd be a blast. I mean,
get that cool.
Yeah, babe. That's right.
And you know, the weirdest thing we found was that boat in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that got there. I mean, you know, and this thing wasn't that old. I'm talking about maybe 10, 15 years old. I mean, so it had to be a tornado, hurricane, flood, something. Because, I mean, you can't get a boat in there. I mean, I'm sorry, you know.
No bodies of water?
No
bodies of water. No one would have been care to leave as you know, a boat to use when they hiked in someplace, or an old vernal pool, maybe. You know, not that vernal pools really sustain life.
What about?
I'm just trying to think of a reason. Why would someone be carrying a boat? Was it a kayak or a John boat? What kind of boat?
No, this is about an 18, 19 foot inboard, outboard. Somebody has stripped the motor out of it, but it was just in the middle of the woods. I mean, I don't know how it got there. I mean,
has someone been living in it?
I didn't, to be honest, I really didn't even want to get that close to it because no telling what was in there. I mean, you know.
Weird.
It is weird. Sometimes when you're walking through the woods, I remember when I was a kid going up through part of Squatch country, me and my brother came across an old car. an old rusted car. It was like real old. It had the old round fenders and the fin things on the back and this thing. And we first saw it, and this was in the middle of the woods too, like you're just like the boat. And we're just like, what the hell is that thing? And we're like, no, we're not going near it. And then, we're sitting there looking, hiding behind a tree. And then we're looking and looking. We go a little closer to it and go a little closer to it. Next thing you know, we're looking in it and we're looking around. The thing was all stripped out. And the seats were gone. And this thing had probably been, set there a long time ago when it was clear cut. It was probably a field back then. They probably drove it back there and said, oh, the thing doesn't work. They might have dragged it back there with horses or something and left it. And now it's in the middle of this huge old growth forest. It was really weird.
Yeah.
To see something like that. But I know how it's spooky sometimes to see a man-made thing that doesn't belong there at first. You're like, I'm not going near that thing. It's weird.
Yeah. I was going to say the forest has probably grown around it, rather than like the old.
Something to reflect on, right, Jake?
It sure is, Adam.
He's busy on the old keyboard.
He's the man. He's got stuff to do. He's busy.
What's that?
Going.
You're the man. You got stuff to do. You're busy, Jake. Let's talk quickly. I don't want to give ourselves like a plug here or anything because there's nothing to plug. But I just want to talk quickly about the immediate future of BLB and what we're going to be doing now that we have to work remotely. We're not going to be face to face doing excursions right now. What do you think? We're going to be doing more shows like this, like Reflekshunz, or maybe some other types of shows, maybe online? Or what do you think, Jake? What do you see?
Want some mountain streams, maybe some edited lives. I mean, if we get separated, boy, that's a lucky thing about where we are. We don't have to travel a long ways like Carl and Rachel. They don't have to travel to get their booger on, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
right out the back door, and we're both in it. You more so than me because I'm unfamiliar with this area that I'm in as far as Sasquatch goes. But still, it's like I'm sure right down the road there's probably plenty of sign down in there. There's just a lot more human traffic. A lot of hunting goes on in there. A lot of ATVs, four-wheelers, snowmobiles in the winter, stuff like that. But Jake, by the way, too, I still have yet to finish the last episode, editing the last episode of season 2. It's almost done. So now that I don't have I can't go anywhere. Maybe I'll have time to finish that baby up.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah. Well, things have been crazy. Wintertime is
Long series.
Crazy time for me and Jake. Yeah, both of us. It seems like we would have more time to do stuff, but it's quite the opposite than the summertime. For us both.
Right in the hot spot season.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that being said, I mean, I'm gonna have a lot more studio time on my hands the next week or two once I do some more bleaching around the home and coming up with some good recipes.
Well, get you summer sausage.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm really excited about this thing. If we can keep on these guys daily and write down what they've eaten so far, I mean, we could come up with a cookbook that would be really funny. Try to reproduce the food, take some pictures of it. Not a full. I mean, we're not going to make a full-on cookbook, but maybe just something online. The online Bigfoot expedition cookbook.
Yeah, the go-to recipes.
Yeah.
When you're hunting Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have. I don't know what I'd take with me actually. I'm not. I've never done it. Never been on an expedition, let alone.
Yeah.
Go hunting.
Lightweight foods are always good. Stuff that's dehydrated, and if you have a water purifier, something you can put in a little stream and clean the water as you go to reconstitute your dehydrated stuff. Like I've had some pretty decent chili that weighs nothing. It's like hardly anything. And you put water in it and heat it up, and it's not bad.
Carl, what's it looking like down there in the swamps of Louisiana? What are the shells looking like? I know they're up and down.
Yeah, it looks like a hurricane's coming. To be honest with you, I mean, no water, no bread. I mean, just about everything's gone. I mean, now they'll restock, and a day or two later, it's gone again. So I mean, people are really taking this serious. I think, which I guess they should. I mean,
Yep.
if you're going to be shut in for 14 days, you need to have enough supplies to last you.
Yeah.
It's not easy for everybody, is it? People who are on low incomes and that. How do you go and do a massive shot if you know security if you're not working next week?
Yeah.
Right.
Not everyone's got savings. Not everyone's got money to pull out to go and buy a month's worth or 2 months or whatever. It's storage. I mean, where'd you put all this stuff if you?
Well, I know one thing they're doing here. They're going to utilize the schools, and they're going to cook meals, and people can just drive up, and they're just going to hand you a bag. You might get one good meal a day. So that's kind of good.
Yep. You guys see how they're taking the cruise ships and turning them into offshore hospitals and things like that?
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Parks too.
Yeah, the parks too. I mean, they might have to. I mean, they might have to call the military in. I mean, set up mobile hospitals, and if it gets bad enough.
Well, let's keep good thoughts in our minds for everybody involved. Everybody, this is a major, major thing. Don't like thinking about it, but you have to sometimes.
Right.
Boy.
Do we? But just do what you can, what you need to do.
Avoid people and wash your hands.
Yeah. Stay home. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Staying home and praying and hoping for the best. That's all we're doing.
I'm gonna go buy Netflix stocks.
Yeah, no kidding. So we're doing a lot of that.
They're reducing the quality of their stream because of the increased content.
Really?
They really, I heard it on the radio today. They
I was watching.
Sorry, they got to reduce it.
Oh right. I was watching a news clip of a guy who is an English guy, but he's in China. He's been isolated for 40 odd days, actually, and he said he'd really enjoyed. He couldn't go anywhere, and he'd really enjoyed reading. He'd read loads of books. He's started learning foreign language online. He started doing yoga. He's just done so many things. He said you can't believe actually how many things you can do if you really, put your mind to it.
Mind over matter. Make yourself a better person. Reflect on the situation.
He said he started doing, push-ups and just keeping himself busy and making the most of it. Because we do, we get so distracted by life that we miss the little details of stuff and maybe the important things, and we don't really maybe develop ourselves as much as we can because we're focused too much, like say, on the phone or the internet or whatever. And, you take something away from people like electricity and suddenly you realize you got to really think for yourself. And, stuff. We haven't had it bad over here. I can't even compare it to some places, but we had a flood a few years ago and that knocked us out of electricity for 2 or 3 days. And it really changed how we, lived. And then I started appreciating life a little bit more and that light switch and what you could do with a little bit of electricity if you had it. And, we need to strengthen ourselves through this, not feel weakened by it.
Yeah.
Basically, we've got a lot in us and we have to pull that out and not let it beat us. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to reflect on the situation. I'm hoping that we come out of this not too scathed and everybody gets a new mindset, back to a better way to live, and remembers what happened. Because the way it is with a lot of people, I know myself included, I'll be like, oh, I'll never do that again. Oh, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, broke my arm or did something stupid. And then, you get better. And a little while later, maybe a year later, you're back to doing the same crap all over again. And you totally forgot what you had just already told yourself that you would never do again. And you're doing the same crap all over again. So hopefully something as big as this, people will not only change a little bit for the better, but they'll also remember it and, have it stay with you instead of just going boom right back to the old crap.
Andy Gone Fishing says we are too busy. We are too busy, but I think sometimes we're busy just being busy. Trying to be busy. I think we waste a lot of time doing not a lot when we're being busy. Spend 2 hours on the internet being busy, but really, I did nothing constructive.
Being busy with the wrong things. I apologize to everybody. I haven't done one of these streams in a really long time, and I did not have the chat on here the whole time until you said Andy Gone Fishing made a comment. I'm like, how are you seeing that, man?
I'm looking on the I can't see the chat in StreamYard. I'm having to look
and now I see who's here. It's really awesome. Oh my goodness, you guys are awesome. Look at who's here. You guys are great. Thanks for checking this out, guys. We're just reflecting on life, Reflections, just a stupid little show. For anybody who missed the intro, we'll just play it again for you real quick.
Reflections, doing it every day. Reflections, doing it all the way. Reflections, doing the best we can. Reflections, at home with the travel band. Now give it to me. Well, I can do the bear.
Just reflecting. Thanks everybody for showing up. It's been very, very fun, and you guys are awesome.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
It's a weird time, isn't it? It's hard to get the mood right.
Really is.
Going with the flow, working without Annette.
It is.
Whoever Annette is, she's got a lot to answer for.
Annette, get over here.
Yeah.
Annette, get over here. Annette. Jeez Louise.
So, guys, I think I might have to pull out, and I don't know if you guys are carrying on and keeping it going.
Well, Daniela, you know what? It's been a pleasure having you on our first show, Reflections. And we're looking forward to hanging out with you and Mogs tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to find out what the boys are up to. So thanks for popping on. Get some good rest.
Thanks for having me on.
Boost up that immune system, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you, Carl.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I did have something else to say, but I've forgotten now. So
you look sleepy.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Well,
what do you say there, Mr. Gotro? What do you say?
I mean, I guess it's back to basics, isn't it? I mean, we might have to, and this is not funny at all. When the shelves are empty with toilet paper, my wife was like, Rachel was like, well, what are we going to do? I said, Rachel, don't worry about it. I have some old T-shirts. Worst comes to worst, I can cut them up. We can use them and we can throw them away. What did people do before they had toilet paper? I mean, use whatever you could.
Well, you can do a makeshift bidet if you need to. You get French with it. You know what I mean? You're a Frenchman.
Yeah. Hey. That's something up, right?
Yeah. They're as long as your arm, Virginia Moonshine.
Jake, let's talk about, I know last night you had a little pasta with the missus, and then you had a little bit of leftover pasta for a snack when you got home. What do you think is going to be, now that we're kind of under lockdown here? What do you guys have, some kind of like weekly menu you're putting together? Are you going to go through the pantry and find out what works so you're not left with just a bunch of, say, cans of corn?
Yeah. No, we're doing that today on our way to do some panic shopping. We're fixing to do an inventory on everything we have, kind of like an episode of Chopped. Only, well, here are our shelves, and let's take a 2-week menu. And usually, before Kate and I, we like to shop a month ahead of time, so we try to plan a 2-week menu, and then go shopping on that 2 weeks and just get extras for the 3rd week or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's what we're fixing to do. And yesterday we're using up the coleslaw and things that are gonna go bad the fastest. The romaine will last a little longer, but the organic baby spinach, that's gonna run right out of here. So I'm gonna use that more on our eggs for breakfast, and things of this nature.
What do you think tomorrow's going to bring? You have any ideas what the spread's going to look like for the both of you there at the homestead?
I'm not sure.
Tomorrow's the first day where I don't have work. Yeah, I don't have work.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Kate's off from school. So.
Like I said, I think everybody's just waiting for the word. I think they're gonna shut the state down, and so I think we're planning on here cooking meals that last, a couple days at least.
Leftovers.
Yep. Try to stretch it out.
Yeah, you have to. That's what we've been doing. We've been doing the get up in the morning, suppress the appetite with some coffee. Lord knows I need to lose some weight anyway. And go through the day, try to stay happy, try to keep your mind off stuff, do some projects, make some music, do some cleaning, just things around the house that you don't get a chance to do normally because you're too busy. And then around 3:30, 4 o'clock, have a little snack, which is usually a little leftovers from the previous night's dinner. And then around 6:30, between 6:30, 7:30, have a medium-sized dinner, and then you're good to go. And we're trying to cook small amounts of pasta and not really have a whole bunch of leftovers, so we can, like Jake was saying, you do the stuff that's most important that's going to go bad. You make that into your first week's recipes. The stuff that's in the fridge, go through the stuff that's in the fridge first, and the stuff that's going to go bad quick.
Right.
So that's what we've been doing.
It's almost like rations, at this point.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? And these guys are out in the woods, fixing to keep squatching, keep battling for another 5 days and filming, or another 6 or 7 days. I mean, 5 days there. This will be day 2. So,
honestly, if they're not infected, and the traveling aside, that is a good place to be. Is out with a bunch of guys in the woods during something like this. If they're free of the virus, then that's a good thing. So, but I've been thinking about these guys, a lot. Obviously, we all have. I've been thinking about them all. I've been picturing, in my mind, the situation. I picture them pulling up at different times of the night. Somebody had to go get picked up from the airport last night. This whole thing is going on with all this crap in the world, and it's like a scary situation just to go get somebody from the airport.
Right.
And then you're getting them from the airport to go do another scary thing. It's just whoa. It's whoa is what it is, big time.
Yeah.
My prayers to everybody out there. I wish them the best of luck. I have so much respect for these guys. I hope that guys like Clay, Clay seems to have a really good sense of humor. I hope he's doing his best to keep the spirits lifted and, making people laugh and having fun, because without that, things could go downhill quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to keep the morale up, even at home. I mean,
Oh, it's easy to fall down that slippery slope, and then you have to build yourself back up. Then you go down. try to keep the news off until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Whew, bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're eating high on the hog. Listen to those guys, pork
Yeah.
tenderloin.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not missing any meals.
So what? Just not to change the subject, but I was listening to the radio coming home today, and I hadn't really been catching the news because we've been working so much, and kind of limited on our people. It's just all the non-essential people are staying home, trying to work from their house. But I mean, what is this new malaria drug that they're talking about that seems to be helping a lot of people?
I heard that it's a very old and well-tested drug, if we're talking about the same thing, that has effects to combat a lot of the symptoms, but not 100%. So it's going to ease the situation and make it not as dire for people, and that it's already been a drug that's been, tested and used for a long time. So it's not going to kill anybody. That's what I heard. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. I think we are.
Yeah, I think we are. And I see right here, I'm looking at my phone. I see Tracy Bean says the news feeds anxiety. I try to avoid it. Exactly right. And I think we need some good stories. Let's talk about the people who are getting better. I mean, you have all these basketball players who have it now, and they're coming out and saying, look, I was sick for maybe 1 or 2 days, but now I'm feeling better. It's all panic. I think the news media had it where, you get it, you're dead. And that's not the case at all. I mean, some people, yeah, I mean, but, not everybody. So.
Well, Carl, I think that the scary part of the news that happened just recently was a tactic to get in the heads of a lot of these kids that just because they're not going to get super sick from it doesn't mean that they can't spread it. And if we got to keep people from spreading it, we got to curve this peak that could really devastate the whole healthcare system. And
yes.
To stay home. And so what if you're going to be sick for a couple of days? That's probably not the news we need to be giving people. On a platform like this, it's fine. But, without that scare tactic in there, people are just going to go running rampant with this thing, and it's just going to keep developing. That's the problem. In my mind, I'm not an expert. I'm just going on just same as everybody else.
Well, yeah.
A little bit. Sorry.
I think you're right about that. I mean, I think some people were taking it serious and some people weren't. I mean, the younger people will say, well, look, I'm not going to get it. I'm too young. I can fight it off. But now they're finding out, that's not the case. So, I mean, like I said, everybody's in the same boat. I mean.
Now, let me interject a little bit here. There was a hiker up here, a 21-year-old kid who had an incident. He passed away hiking on, I believe it was Dick's Mountain. 21-year-old kid. This is a, avid hiker trying to knock out the 46ers, hiking with, maybe this was a few weeks, this virus. They've been reporting on this virus maybe since January, late December, January.
Yeah.
Here it is, toward the end of March.
Yeah.
And, do you remember, Adam? It was in a local paper a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Remember that kid? Maybe he had the virus.
Well,
maybe that was the respiratory issue that he encountered.
Yeah. It could be, Jake. It could be. They're saying that this can be, one of the types of viruses, like the flu is a good example where people have it and can give it to people, but one person might be, get a runny nose and have a bit of a cold. The next person next to them is
not sick.
really, really sick for like 2 weeks. It happened to me and my girlfriend this winter. She got sick, and then I got sick, and I got really sick. And I tell you what, it wasn't any fun. And it was a lot different to me than it was to her. And so that's just one thing to be cautious of with this stuff. So different for everybody.
Well, you know what it's kind of like? I don't know if y'all have experienced this, but I have, having kids and, what Rachel getting sick. It's kind of like the stomach virus. Some people get it and they're down for days. And you might get it and you might just have one bad night and then you're done. I mean, So is it just a watered down version, or is your immune system stronger than theirs? I mean,
Well, the human body is so complex and so different from person to person. Even twins can experience something, identical twins can experience something completely different. It happens all the time. Experimental drugs. One person takes a little bit of this, they never want to touch the stuff again. This other person touches a little bit of the same thing, and now they're hooked on it. Everybody is different the chemistry of the human body is so complex and so different that,
yeah,
who knows what this is.
Yep. You're right.
No, I don't know. And everybody feels different day to day. Sometimes you'll wake up and you'll feel good and you'll feel great, and the next day you didn't do anything different, and you wake up and you don't know why you don't feel good. But it's a complex and very fragile, but yet very strong system and planet that we live in. The whole thing is both super strong and resilient and super fragile at the same exact time.
Well, I'll tell you a perfect example. About 2 or 3 months ago, a lady I used to work with, her son, I don't even think he's 30. He's probably 26, 27 years old. He went on a cruise. They left out of New Orleans. Well, they're halfway to Cancun, and they have to emergency evacuate him out of there. The Coast Guard has to come get him. They had to put him in a hospital. I think he ended up on a ventilator, and they didn't know exactly what was wrong with him. Tested him for the flu, tested him for this, tested him for that. He did get better, but who's not to say he had this and they just didn't know it at the time. I mean, because he was in bad shape. I mean, he was like really, really bad shape.
Yeah. Whew, you just never know, do you, bud?
I know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, self-isolation. I mean, that's what it is now. I mean,
we're just hoping we get through this next couple weeks and we're good to go. I mean, we're not going anywhere.
No.
If we wake up the next several days and we still feel good, I might go out to the shed. I might go out to Thrains. I might go out to Thrains and start working on some projects out there. Until then, I'm staying away from everything. I'm staying home and washing my hands and thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner and working on BLB.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with our situation at work, because I mean, we almost fuel the industry. We sell a lot of valves to chemical plants who make, hand sanitizer, medical supplies. So if they shut us down, I mean, how are these chemical plants going to make all this, alcohol? I mean, just general supplies that you need in a hospital situation or at home, or, hand sanitizer. I mean, you can't hardly find hand sanitizer. And look, we're busy at work right now. I mean, everybody's slow, but I can't really see them shutting us down because we're part of like the supply chain. So I might have to get up and go to work every day. I can't really because we're part of like the supply chain. So I might have to get up and go to work every day. I can't really.
I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, it was my.
I have something interesting for you to listen to on that whole front. I'm glad you brought that up. I spent most of my morning this morning with a good friend of mine from the Albany area, who was just worried about our well-being. You're chatting that up. I spent most of my morning this. And anyway, he works in a chemical plant, and he got the boot, and a whole faction of workers didn't, and they had the choice if they wanted to leave or not. That they kind of split the group up, and half the people stayed on, and they can't go anywhere. They have to stay there. That's where they live. They're making this temporary living quarters within the chemical plant so they can keep it moving. So the chemical plant's not shutting down. It's only on, let's say, 70% or less of its daily operation. But the way he explained to me is, they have all these lines that run all over the place with all this stuff in them, and you got to keep stuff moving. There's chemical reactions that happen. There's all this stuff that goes on, and it's a 24-hour thing where it's always running. There's people in and out all the time, and to stop to stop it would be a huge waste of money because you'd have to, halt everything, clean everything, and start over again. So they have a group of guys that are living there at the chemical plant, and they can't go anywhere. And these are all mostly, some of them are family guys, but a lot of them are like the single roughneck guys that are just there doing their thing. So
Right.
That's how they're dealing with it. I don't know the name of his company, but I'm definitely find out. I'll probably be chatting with him a lot over the next couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, some of our biggest customers are DuPont, Eastman Chemical. I mean, all these, this is the big boys, they make all the chemicals. Some of them make medications. I mean, so if you shut us down, I mean, you're putting a kink in the chain, and if they need to expand or make more, I mean, with a first line of supply, I mean,
yeah, they're going to have to put like a whole living campus on site and have it, everybody, mandatory pre-qualified testing and put it all like that, so you go through the vestibule before you get there. Maybe.
Well, I mean, we're a secure facility, so we're not letting anybody outsiders in, no salespeople, anything like that, so trying to limit the access to the 5 guys we do have that are working steady, so we can keep it going. Because right now, I mean, our company already told us, if we have to shut down for 2 weeks, we're going to pay you. But I mean, it turns into an ethical thing because we could be helping people. I mean, do we stay at home, get paid, or do we go out there and do our jobs and help kill this thing? I mean, it's
a very delicate balance, and it's an important decision to make because, I mean, either direction you could be making the wrong one.
Right.
That's why we got to have more testing. The thing they're talking about now is with the shipping the at-home test kits and getting those available to the people. Like, who wouldn't want one of those right now? I know I would. Let's get me tested. But the way they say it, that if you're not, full on, or what do they say with AIDS? They say it's called full blown. You're not full blown. You're not going to come back positive with any test. You got to have the shit to make it. So you just come up as a positive person. So
yeah,
so many different things. It's like Lyme disease. You can test that over and over again and come back negative. And you could be positive for Lyme the whole time.
Yeah.
Jake knows all about that.
Well, I was talking to the UPS guy, and he said they're about to get slammed because they're about to ship over 200,000 kits just in this area.
Yep.
So, I mean, things people don't even think about, I mean, so they're going to have to run special trucks. They're going to have to be cleaned every day, and sanitized, and it's a big undertaking. I mean,
everything needs to be fully inspected every day. We can't have any chance of any vehicles breaking down on the roads. We got to make sure everything is seamless, and we have to do it so when it gets to the places, it's completely sanitary, cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
Think about like the food deliveries that are happening now. They're at home. They're not supposed to go anywhere, and now they're ordering food through like these other third-party things coming through with Amazon and whatnot, and the whole thing is just it's a scary, messed up thing. So, all that being said, what do you want for Christmas this year, Carl?
What do I want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Probably
not too unreasonable.
Probably find a cure for this and a vaccine, and let's just get this over with and get back to normal.
Let's say we get it taken care of before then, and we're back to business as usual, and it's just a regular old kind of day in the hood. What is it that you would like to open up on Christmas Day?
That's a great question. What a Ferrari 488 be out of the question?
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would. Well, I don't know your financial sitch over there. Wouldn't be happening in my household. I know that.
Well, it's coming from Santa Claus, so I mean, hey,
well,
he can work a lot of magic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could get a radio controlled version. Those are pretty nice. Those are really nice. They go wicked fast these days.
Yeah.
Some of those RC mods go like over 100 real miles an hour these days. They're freaking nuts.
No, I mean, I would. My wish list would be, and I think Carrie's going to send us it after we get finished. He gets finished with it. Is that thermal camera?
Oh baby,
That would be great.
In my mind, I was kind of thinking that. I don't know if I was reading your mind or what, but that's what I was thinking. I swear, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Like thermal camera, I bet, is what he wants.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, and a lot of people say, well, why don't you just go sit out there in your car, next? Well, I can't see him coming. But with a thermal camera, we can, and we could get out of Dodge if we see, we do see one coming, maybe get, some footage of it and get on out of there,
How fun would that be?
Yeah. I mean, it would be a game changer, I think,
Big time. Big time game changer. I mean, that's I've always wanted something like that too. I've looked at some different options, and they're either like half-ass or really expensive.
Yeah.
And so that's why we don't have one at this point,
You get the great value version or the show enough version, which is about $5,000. So
yep. So
no, that would be interesting because I could probably go and leave it, and especially, Carrie, I think said this one records, so I could probably go leave it in that patch of woods down that right away, and just go pick it up in the morning, and see what we get.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked that Tom Brady's going to be playing for the Buccaneers.
Well, I'm not.
Why is that?
Because the Saints have to play him every year now.
Oh, that's not going to affect anything.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just a quarterback away from having a really good team, so
it's going to make a big, interesting dynamic for the game. I know that. That's why. That's why I'm excited about it. I didn't know anything about football or get into any football whatsoever till this year because of my girlfriend, and she loves it. She's big time into it. Huge Tom Brady fan more than anything, and so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
All right.
Yeah, it should. Now, are we going to play? I mean, hopefully, getting into August and September, hopefully they have this under control.
Well, thinking that far out, you never know. Right now,
Right.
the thing that I'm thinking about that affects me most is the PGA. There's not going to be. I don't have any golf to watch, which is okay because I can stream. Yes, Jake.
No, why don't why can't they play golf? They just send them out one at a time. That's social distancing. They can do that. Why aren't they golfing?
The PGA
Sorry.
is the PGA is
I wasn't talking about that. But,
the PGA is comprised of people from all around the globe. That's who plays in the PGA, and that's the reason to get those people to play. They're going all over the world all the time, and that's why they don't want them to play like that. They'll probably come up with something different. They might come up with some different kind of way to have some kind of game where you can have some kind of something to watch with outdoor golf or something. But as of right now, I don't know. Look at this guy. No players. Nope.
oh.
Yup.
What about the XFL? Come on, XFL was looking good for the first 5 weeks. I was entertained, man. That stuff was doing good, man.
You
The
remember
Guardians were 2-0 out of the gate, then they crapped the bed. But I think everyone's looking at those Houston Roughnecks. I mean, come on, 5-0, only undefeated.
Oh my gosh, Jake. The XFL. I remember that, dude. That is hilarious.
Yeah, they just came back this year, bro. Just came back.
They started again.
No.
Yeah.
That's a brand new league. Yeah, if you didn't even know that. Yeah,
No,
bro.
I don't get out much, but why didn't you tell me about this, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't know because because our local paper sucks and they don't have an XFL column in there. Sorry about that, Glens Falls. You guys blow.
The Glens Falls Post-Star needs an XFL column.
Well, they had talked about playing without anybody in the stands. I mean, but then you having groups of people together. I mean, playing together. Look how it's spread in basketball. I mean,
yeah, it's one of those things where, ooh, look at what is this? Look at this, Jake. What do you think about this? You see this guy?
Mm-hmm. What?
He's in the epicenter of it all. This guy lives down in Queens, and he needs some positive vibes. Let's all do a prayer.
I responded to that.
Our boy Tommy, love you, brother. Thanks for checking out our show. Tom was supposed to go on a once yearly mission down to Pennsylvania where they do something called Redneck Olympics. My brother's Jason's involved with it. A bunch of good friends get down there and they have all these games where they shoot bow and arrow, they have target practice, they throw hatchets and saw blades and do some knife throwing, and it goes on for like 3 or 4 days. And somebody wins the trophy at the end, and it's been going on for a long time. They had to cancel. Redneck Olympics had to cancel. And that's not on the
over a decade.
But it should be.
Yeah.
Not on the news, but it should be. So prayers with you, Tommy, and your family, buddy. Keep me posted on what's going on down there. And don't forget, you can always give me a link to that live John Schwab. Our buddy John Schwab does a little live stream where he plays music for the fans just to lighten the mood. It's a really cool thing. I think he has a YouTube channel. And it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
You can get in there and chat with him, and he doesn't usually see the chat, but you can give him some recommendations anyway. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I know a lot of other people are doing it. Coldplay just did a live in their living room session, and who else did it? Somebody else just did it recently too. It's good.
What?
It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. Give people something to do. Give them something to get their mind off of it. Hopefully, something we're doing like this, Jake. We gotta brainstorm tomorrow, Jake. Come up with some more ideas to do some more live.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do some daytime stream.
I mean, these are unprecedented times.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking my whole rig, computer, and everything down to the kitchen and doing a live cooking show.
I'll tell you. It'll be kitchen part 2, huh?
Yeah.
Or I think the Redneck Gourmet might need to resurface.
I think this weekend, if we get some good sunny
our skills
weather,
have been sharpened.
I think I'm just going to go sit outside for a couple hours and just take in some ultraviolet rays, and hopefully that'll kill it.
Supposed to have an effect on it. It is supposed to have an effect. I know I went around and I pulled any shades that I had down for privacy. I put them so they're at the lower part of the thing, so the light coming from the top, any of the upper windows. I did them the opposite. We got sun coming in here as much as possible now, and so you're supposed to get a little fresh air and get some sun. I like that idea, Carl. I'm gonna have to get some UV myself.
Right.
Get a little bit of that. What is it? It's the
vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yep. So awesome. Well, what do you say, guys? You want to call it good? You have anything else fun to say? You want to talk about a different topic? I mean, I'm game for anything right now. I'm game for anything. What about out in the chat room? Anybody else out there have any questions out in the chat room? I know, Andy, you're always here for us. Love you, brother. One of our biggest supporters, and we love that. So thanks for checking us out, and above all, we hope you stay safe. And that comes from the heart, my brother. Comes from the heart.
Ruger Ridge has a good question, and I think I might have an answer. It says, anybody here, animals carry this? I heard in the beginning, I heard dogs could get it, but then I think they reversed that. I think
camels and cats. Camels and cats.
Camels and cats. Wow, what a combination.
I heard that camels and cats can get it, but they oftentimes will not get sick. They'll just be carriers of the disease.
Wow.
What about this? This is from Tom Hammond from down in Queens. Can Bigfoot get coronavirus? So last night we had Mark Zasky on there, and he was talking about the immune system of alligators and comparing that to Bigfoot. That, you know, alligators live down in the swamp in a veritable pool of disease, and they have the strongest immune systems ever. They can wallow in this stuff, and down there with mosquitoes and everything else, and they're just fine. They're happy to live right in it, and all these Sasquatch live down there too. Yeah, and they're right in it too, where the alligators are and all the swamps. That's where the Sasquatch are too. So I'm no expert, but from what I gathered over the last day, Tom, we think that they might have an immune system strong enough to not get this thing.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, us three, we couldn't go drink water out of a swamp. It would probably, we'd end up with malaria or something. But they probably can, because they probably built up a tolerance to it. You know, you hear about these people who've been bitten by rattlesnakes so many times it doesn't even affect them.
Oh, I mean,
might be a situation like that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, could be.
Extract something and find the cure.
Oh, yeah. Reverse engineer this, guys. Come on.
We got another really valid point here from Andy. If Squatches are indeed people, then in his opinion, that yes, they could get it. It's a good idea there.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what I did observe. Do you know what thistle is? Wild thistle.
It's got sharp on the leaves and the soft purple on the top.
Well, you know that's one of the hottest things. Everybody talks about milk thistle. Well, there's a field around the block from us. It was full of thistle. I passed by there the other day. It was all gone. So I don't know where this stuff went. I don't, you know, what other animal eats it? I mean, I've tasted it before. It tastes like celery. I mean, it's not bad.
Huh. Interesting.
And it's supposed to have a lot of healing properties. I mean, so
deer, bear, anything like that? Does that eat thistle?
Deer and bear? I bet goats do. But the only thistle we have around here this time of year is urban thistle. We have him, and we have who else do we have here, Jake?
Yeah.
We have urban thistle, and then
Herbie, Frank,
Josh Thistle.
His son, I think his son Travis works up there. Is it Travis who works up there? Herbie's son. He was talking to me today about the gate being locked. I got locked in up at work the other day. The gate's not supposed to be locked until 6 o'clock. I come out of there. It's like 5:52, 5:54, and the thing's already. It's not even dummy lock like they usually. It's full blown locked. So I have to do an off-road Dukes of Hazzard kind of Enos around the bend to get out of there, but luckily I did.
You know. Well, look, the Scottish Wild Man brings up a good point. I mean, you know, I don't think this is a time for arguing about politics or, you know, I think everybody needs to share information, work together. You know, even if it's your worst enemy, if Iran comes up with a cure, I mean, we need to get with them and, you know, see what's going on, what they're doing, how they're doing it. You know, I mean,
times like this bring out good things in people. They can bring out bad qualities where you have all the people fighting over the toilet paper, but when it really comes down to it, you know, the big enemies that make all the big difference in the world can find common ground often, and that's a good point there.
Yep. So do you think that's what it is? Is that good and evil battle? They're trying to bait us into that good and evil battle, like with this story of things that are happening, and betting on what we'll do one way or the other? I mean, because 9 times out of 10, we're the good Samaritan. Or you would think, but
when you say we, that's subjective. When you say they, that's subjective. You're talking Illuminati, you're talking God, you're talking Satan. Who are you talking here? Politicians.
Well, yeah. The thing of it is, let's think about where's the hysteria coming from? Probably the idiot box. Okay, well, let's think about how the consolidation has happened over the years. I mean, 6 different companies run all the news we see. So, I mean, come on, guys. Yeah. Gals and guys, you guys.
It's a true fact there, Jeremy. You're right about that. And it is oftentimes scary. That's why, sometimes it's fun to make up your own news, Jake, and make up your own show.
Yeah,
make up your own media. Come up with your own take on the Bigfoot Sasquatch phenomenon. Do your own field research. Get out there and have some fun. And don't believe the hype sometimes. You just got to get out there.
Just be safe. Let's be safe.
Share your perspective. What do we got? We still have 11 people in the chat. Anybody else have anything interesting to say, to reflect upon? After all, this is the show. It's a brand new hit internet show. It's brand new and it's very popular. It's called Reflekshunz. It's right now we have Carl Gotro and Jake.
Viral
with me. It's very popular. It's spreading faster than the what, and we're pretty. I mean, 11 people can't be wrong, Jake.
Hey, we're doing the best we can. It's on. We didn't really advertise. I mean, it's not like we said before the end of the last show where 342 people were watching on the campaign.
Yeah.
We made jokes a year ago almost. We thought it was going to be in happier times. If things went perfect, we'd be in a whole different scenario right now, but here we are making lemonade. Guys, we're making wet lemonade.
Yes, we are indeed. I'd be happy for anybody out there that watches this, is watching it live now or watches it later, to give us a little comment, suggestion on other ideas you'd like us to touch on, other reflection shows that maybe we could hit on. I know me and Jake are going to be doing some brainstorming tomorrow, off camera, just kind of talking about some things to pass the time and to, make sure we spread awareness, but is at the same time spread good vibes and kind of keep people's minds in the right set if we can, because
and crowdsource the Squatch if we can too. So we need Mogi on. Some different people are coming up in the chat. They need to send us tell us some of the things they want us to talk about or hear about, or
sure,
like you said, give us your feedback down below. So
yep,
anybody wins. It's not easy.
And there's, I mean, right now, what we have going on is we're going to be doing Reflekshunz every night after the Hidden Existence show, which is kind of like a report on the experience down with the boys. And then Reflekshunz is going to be reflecting a little bit on that, and as well as other topics immediately after. We're going to be doing this every night that they're going to be doing that. And so if there's anything you guys want to hit on, or if you want to spread the good word that we're going to be doing this and you want to get other people to come on and have a little roundtable discussion with us, this is the place to do it, guys, right here. And Carl, if you want to come on any of these, just let us know, and we'll get you a link and we'll get you on there anytime.
Okay.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we got a little thing here. Needs some music, bro. That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe we can't be doing any copy.
Didn't you try to play that intro earlier? What's am I on a lag here? Is something I feel like I'm behind the conversation.
Well, you probably are. Just refresh your YouTube. Refresh your YouTube.
I'm not on YouTube. I'm on a StreamYard.
You know, I don't know. One of the things I would like to find out is, why do they do these tree snaps and these, these arches like you were talking about? I mean, to me, that's the most interesting thing. I mean, I'm kind of past, that they exist. I mean, because I've actually seen them and the experiences we've gone through. I mean, why do they do these things? I mean, it might look crazy to us, but I mean, it might mean something totally different to them. I mean, that's some of the big questions in this field. I mean,
or do they use it for hunting? Are they using it for markers? Are they sending people their way? Or like you said, are they directing game to go off game trails? There's a...
To me, in my experience, I've heard these things on several times, and in my experience, it's to let you know that they're there for one, and possibly not all the time, because a lot of times I heard them when I was painting a house, so it's not to let their other friends know that I'm there. But in other times in the woods, when I'm in the deep woods, then you'll hear them there too. So I think they're it seems like they're trying to let me know that they're there.
Right.
And why? It's just weird.
Well, go ahead. No, I mean before all this started happening, and look, I'll tell you, I think people are overlooking one piece of evidence that we have that is unbelievable is that 17-inch footprint on the concrete. I mean, I've never seen another one like that. I mean, that is the shape of the foot. You can see exactly where the weight is. You can see the oil off of their skin, which makes sense. If you're going to live in an environment and, not bathe, your skin would have to be oily because it would be so dry that, it would just crack all the time. And I don't know. It's just a big mystery. I mean,
it is. Andy says that people say they report that they wave to people, which I've heard that quite a bit. And then you got Ruger Ridge over here saying he thinks the knocking is for them, which that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think it is too. I think it's kind of for us too. I don't really know. It's so weird.
People
back and forth.
People suggest to us, well, do this, try this, which, look, they're all good ideas, and go do wood knocks in the woods. But how do we know what a wood knock means to them, or a howl? A howl might be challenging the big male. Hey, look, I want to scrap. I want to try to take over your clan, and you just might be asking for trouble. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, and like I said, people suggest doing this, doing that, putting up mirrors and stuff, which is fine. But like I said from day one, if we change something just a little bit, they don't like it. So what if I go put a mirror up or put lights in the trees like some people suggested? What if it pisses them off? We're at the point where, we're kind of living with them, and I don't want to do anything to escalate the situation because this is our home. We're not 200 miles in the woods somewhere. This is our home. We live here.
I wanted to ask you, Carl, did you ever hear, I'm not sure, pardon me, because I don't remember who the gentleman was, but there was a field researcher that worked, I think it was on one of Duke's shows. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly right now offhand. So I'm sorry about that. But what this guy was saying is that he understood in some degree what the knocks were. And he was saying that one knock is just something, two knocks is a little more intense. 3 knocks, it's big time. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
If you hear 4 knocks, you're going to get charged. You're going to have a bluff charge, and it's going to happen real soon. Something along those lines. and the way he was saying it was a matter of fact. And when I was listening to it, I was kind of intrigued at one point, but then at the same time, I was like, I didn't find much credibility into it because of all the experiences I've had in the woods and what we get around here. And then someone actually came on in that chat and they said, well, where does this happen? It happens down south and down in East Texas. And, up here where we are in the Adirondacks, you get random knocks in different rhythms and different cadences. You'll hear like, then you'll hear,
yeah,
and then you hear all sorts of these different little nuances in the way they do it, and it's just bizarre. It's bizarre.
Well, did I ever? I don't know if you ever heard me explain the whoop story, because they do different things in certain places. Because me and Lady in the Woods were talking about this. You hear these researchers, they go out in the woods and they do that long whoop. Mm-hmm. Well, they don't do that here. We have it recorded. And one day I was eating lunch at this little it's a little gas station / restaurant. They serve food for lunch and breakfast. And there was a Louisiana wildlife and fisheries agent in there. And I said, I'm going to go talk to him. And so I went up to him. I talked to him. I said, hey, is there anything in the state of Louisiana that whoops? And I said, animal wise. He said, no, not that I know of. He said, but there are animals that almost make a whooping sound. But I said, no, this is a distinct whoop like that. He said, no. He said, not that I said, not even a whooping crane. He said, no, God, no. He said a whooping crane makes a god awful squawking sound. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of questioning me. He said, well, are you hearing that? I said, well, yes, I actually have it recorded. And he said, well, where is this? I said, at my home. And he said, where do you live? And I told him where I lived. And I think he wanted to quiz me a little more. And I kind of got cold feet. And I was like, well, nice talking to you. I got to go. I didn't want to give up too much information because I think they know. I think these guys know. I really do. And I think they have a protocol. If somebody reports one, oh, you saw a bear, they go put out a bear trap for 2 or 3 days. They don't catch a bear. And they said, well, okay, we must have ran the bear off. So.
Yeah, it's always the go-to, isn't it?
Right.
It always is. It's like it happened around here recently. We had a sighting. And I think a lot of people know about this. We haven't touched on it much, but enough. I had a sighting here near us on the other edge of Squatch Country on Bird Pond Road. And the gentleman who encountered this ran across a forest ranger in the following week, randomly at his job, and told him about it and said, what do you think? What do you think that was? And the forest ranger said that was a bear. And I just started laughing. He goes, it wasn't a bear. And he said, yes, it was. And goes, no, it wasn't. And he goes, what you saw was a bear. And then he just shut up after that and didn't argue with him at all anymore. He said, okay, well, obviously you're either keeping something from me or you just don't know and you don't believe, because a lot of people you might think are hiding something from you because they know more, but simply they just don't know. And
that could be you're exactly right. That could be the case. But look what's going on right now with this coronavirus. So imagine after all this is done, President Trump comes on and says, you know what? We gonna let everybody know that there are Bigfoots. They're, give a description, 8-9 foot tall. They live in the woods. There's nothing we can do about it. These things are half human, they may have rights. That's just like us, civil liberties. So imagine the panic in the forestry industry, the camping industry. I mean, how would people take that? Look what's happening now. I mean,
you're right about that. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, global change, paradigm shift across the planet could bring out anything we don't know. Really could. Depending on how this whole thing pans out, what's going to come out in the wash, and what's going to be the next move from the big players. Are they going to start exposing things they wouldn't normally, or is something going to happen to the degree where all these squatch just kind of they come out anyway?
Well,
who knows?
You're hearing more and more of it. I mean, people, they're coming in the neighborhoods, they're coming around people's homes, and I think it's just development. People say, why do you think they're coming to your house? Well, I don't know. They might have built our house where they lived. I mean, they could have, because when I moved here 19 years ago, I mean, the main street they came in, you ran into the woods and it stopped. You could not go any further. And it was just woods all around. Now it's all neighborhoods,
Yeah.
They knocked them down, knocked trees. How would you feel? Right. Look what's going on now. If somebody just started coming down the street with a bulldozer and knocking down your house and you don't have any place to live. So what would you do? I mean, what would you do in that matter? I mean,
yeah, you would probably have a negative reaction.
Well, I mean,
somebody built a skyscraper in my backyard.
Word.
That stuff happens. It happens to people. There's never any good outcome, ever.
No. I mean, I've heard of situations where they want to put a new road in and they offer people, a certain amount of money for the home and they don't want to accept it. Well, you either accept it or we're going to tear your house down and we're going to put this road up. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, and that's part of why maybe they're getting seen, and that and the world. You're right. The world does get smaller every day. Everything's encroaching.
Right.
And so you're gonna be, and plus everybody has cell phones. Everybody has a video camera on them all the time now.
Right.
And then there's all this information, like with all the I remember when I got interested in this. Well, I was interested in it forever, since I was a kid. But since I started really getting into it and trying to find out what I was hearing and smelling and things like that, which was about 5 years ago, started going on the internet and looking up things. And you probably know as well as I do, there was only there weren't that many videos.
Right.
There was Bigfoot sighting. There was a bunch of little hoaxy stuff that was out there that was not that, just making fun of it. And then there was a couple other videos here and there. Now it's just saturated. Boom. Tons of things with open platforms and all these research campaigns and all sorts of podcasts and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, and look, they may be, since we're so much alike, they may be observing us. Who knows? They may want to join the human race. That's something to think about too.
According to Zasky, they want nothing to do with us at all. And that guy, I don't know, man. He's got some pretty interesting things to say, and the way he presents it is kind of, I don't know. I believe him.
Well, I always go by the Native Americans. I think they've had more experience with these things than anybody. And they always call them a race of people. You never hear, and by the way, there's never been any ape bones found in North America. So I think the ape theory is out. You're going to have to look towards a human, because I don't remember what the show was. There was two brothers. They were around where you live, I think, around New York, Vermont, around that area. They were digging up these huge skeletons in the middle of the woods. I mean, buried in these elaborate graves lined with stones and, ancient giants. Yeah, I think Rachel said it's called Ancient Giants. I might have to go back and watch that, because that's interesting to me. I mean,
down near Poughkeepsie.
If anybody has any information on what Carl's talking about right now, let us know. Give us a little clue on what you're talking about. I remember hearing something like that. I do. I just don't remember where it's from. I remember there was people on this old farm, and they walked back there. There was all this grassland, and they dug one of these things up, and it was this huge, ginormous skeleton. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, they were finding them all over. I mean, I think they were around Vermont and maybe New York, and that's what they did. They would find these elaborate graves in the middle of the woods, and these things were, 7, 8, 9 feet tall, and almost like a human skeleton. And just why would somebody go to that length? I mean, most people are buried in graveyards. Why would you bury a person, hundreds of miles in the middle of the woods? I mean, it didn't make sense.
Yep. Very strange indeed. I really like.
So
maybe what?
Maybe they do bury their own. I mean,
Well, if anybody's seen, I think it's episode 3 of season 1 in the first season of BLB. We were hiking back not too far from where I was living at the time, and we came across these things that looked like burial mounds, big ones. They looked like they were, and they're still there today. I mean, we can go there tomorrow. I know right exactly where they are and look at them, but they creep me out. And we walk back in there, and there they are, plain as day. They look like they're burial mounds, man. That's what they are.
Big graves.
And but yeah, two big graves. And yeah, gives me the willies, man, thinking about it. So I don't want to dig that up.
No, I wouldn't suggest it.
No.
Probably bring some kind of bad
the location too.
Well, that used to be just
no, but the location.
The location, yeah, that used to be nothing in there before M&J put their house up there and the cross driveway and all that. That was just woods. When I was growing up as a kid, that was just nothing in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
It's on those Lost Giants was the name of the show.
Rachel said she found it. It's called Lost Giants.
Lost Giants. Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Oh yeah.
Jake, what do you do with my pen?
I put it over on the.
Okay, here's something I forgot to mention as far as one of the reflections I wanted to bring out here for everybody. One of the things that were mentioned in tonight's show with Daniela, Carrie was talking about having the EMF detector go off on his drone and having a malfunction with the thing. That's extremely unusual for that type of drone, because I have the earlier version of that drone, and if he's out in the middle of nowhere and flying that thing, the likelihood of having anything like that at the elevation you're flying at is like zero.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that Squatch putting out some kind of frequency and like debugging and putting a bug in the drone and having it so it can't fly?
Could be zapping it.
Yeah, that's what I think, Jake. Carrie's drone, Squatch is zapping it, making it come home. EMF.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the weirdest thing I've experienced so far through this whole thing is if you go listen to that. I forget what it's called on my channel. It's called the howling video, I think. Now, me and Rachel were woken up by that, and I was standing right here. This is my bedroom window, and it faces towards the camera, the way the camera's looking. And when that thing starts going off, I was looking out the window, and I couldn't see anything because it was so dark, but I could feel the window was rattling, first of all. And if you watch those pants in the tree, they start to swing.
Yeah,
and it was something felt like it was hitting me in the chest, like something was thumping me in the chest. And I don't know what it is or what it was. People have said coyotes, screech owls, but I don't.
No.
If you Google any of that, I mean,
I checked that out in length and detail and back and forth and looked at that thing one night forever, and it's none of those things. It seemed like a paranormal occurrence to me more than anything. Is what it seemed to me. That's what I got out of it.
And there's that weird flash too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. was that one cloaking? Was one cloaked in the yard? Because I don't know what brought that on. I mean, everything's peaceful and quiet. My dogs are sleeping underneath the patio. And all of a sudden, my big dog just takes off running towards the fence, barking. And when that thing starts going off, man, she just stops dead in her tracks and just tail down. And my other little dog was underneath the patio right here. That's the dog you hear yipping. I think it was either hurting her ears or she was just that damn scared.
Now we got here, Andy says Men in Black is what I think interfered with Carrie in the drone. And that's a good possibility. I mean, if you think about what Mr. Zasky was saying with the people down there, they know he's there. He's saying some of them know, not only know he's there, but absolutely he knows that they know they're there. They watch his show.
Yeah.
So, why can't people from the government watch Carrie's show? Why? Who knows how many people are out there sitting in desks just looking for shows like this to follow up on them and want to know what's going on with them? Who knows? So if they're indeed tracking everybody and figuring out where they're going, who knows if there's like a what's it called? GPS tracker on one of their vehicles, or we're going to a location nobody's going to.
Oh, with a GPS,
we know where you are.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
I mean, they might have.
They don't need a GPS. They already have a automatic and artificial intelligence computer, right? I mean, they already have that, so they can keep track of everybody at the same time.
Who says Men in Black is our government? Right? That's a good point. Yeah, Men in Black is Men in Black. We don't know what the hell that is. We don't know what the hell that is.
It's a female.
Well, I mean,
no, she is a. Go ahead, Carl.
No, I was just talking about tracking. If your vehicle has OnStar on it, you can track. Anybody can track it.
Yeah.
I mean,
track it or hack it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Lots of unknowns. I'm really happy with the way this first reflection show has come along, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure chatting with you boys.
All right, guys.
I think we're going to wrap things up here. It's 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's time to call it quits. We will be back tomorrow. We can't schedule these things because we have to kind of go with the flow with what's going on with Daniela's show, which is always awesome. We'll be right there with her up until near the end of it, and then we'll be switching over to some reflections. And Carl, thanks for coming on, though. Appreciate it. He looks like he's just staring right at me, doesn't he? You're just staring. Carl, stop staring like that. Seriously, dude, stop it.
Carl, you frozen? Carl.
MIB getting at you. You there?
Yeah.
Wait, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you froze up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Just for a little bit. Hey, Scottish Wildman says, good show. Hey, we did something right. Hey, thanks for checking it out, bud. Thanks for checking it out. Awesome. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you guys. Soon, hopefully tomorrow night.
Night, y'all. Let's send our energy, peace, and rest, and send all that energy to the team down there in Mississippi on the campaign. Everyone on the count of 3, come on.
Awesome.
All right then.
All right, boys.
Y'all good night.
All right.
Reflections, doing it every day. Reflections, doing it all the way. Reflections, doing the best we can. Reflections, at home with the travel band. Now give it to me.